Hello everybody, it's Matt from Invexor Trade. It is Sunday 6th of December 2020 and we're looking at the markets the week ahead. Been playing around with the major indices, some of the cryptos, so we'll go through it. For the observant ones, I do have my England shirt on, celebrating a great victory against France. So the first market I want to look at is Germany, so the DAX 30, German 30. And what we're looking at, we've had a lot of consolidation. We've been in this hourly 4 chart now. Just switch to the daily just to remind us where we are. We are at some key levels, like huge. That's the resistance. These levels around 13,400, 13,500. I've always led double top, sell, sell, massive sell. So when price has gone anywhere near that, it's led to a sell. We had that then on the 3rd of September. It led to a pullback. So we've got to be careful around these levels, in my opinion. But I think there might be some change as to why potentially it could look to break out. If I scroll in on hourly 4, and if we look at the low from the last correction on the 30th of October, what we're seeing is if I just put in some simple Fibonacci, so the extension one here, so we're using this as the first wave up. You'll see that perfectly hit. The vaccine news was the excuse, but technically it hit 1618 beautifully, perfectly. If I combine this, which is what we like to do in Invexor Trade, combine the 2 fib styles. So again, put my 100 there on the first, if we call it a wave 1 of some sort. What you will see, bring that down, is the 423 here. Okay, so if I combine those 2 techniques, those 2 fib levels, it will make sense as to why we've had some stalling. So the question now, which everyone wants to know, is it going to go up and is it going to go down? We're not fortune tellers. We don't want to be fortune tellers. We don't want to predict. We want to play some high probability trades. So what we're looking at, a couple of key things for me on this hourly 4 chart, what I say is, well, firstly, we've got what you would normally see. If this is a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, and a 4, and a 5 of some sort, you would expect to see awesome oscillator divergence. So we'll tick that. We say we've got that. Price has gone higher from the point here, and our awesome oscillator has got weaker, and also RSI has got weaker also. So again, we're looking at that and we're thinking, well, there's some warning signs. Okay, here. If I flick to the daily chart of DAX, I've highlighted here the gap. So we do have a gap up here. So the gap really going back around 13,500. So I'll just flick back to this chart, go into our hourly 4, and we can see that the 423 Fibonacci level is 13,534, which ties in pretty much with the gap going back to February 2020 before we had the big drop. So the question mark is this a 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and we're in the 5th of some sort? It might not be that simple. What I like to do is have a quick look at potential channels as we get closer to the levels, and we're kind of in this channel right now. So if I just bring that down, okay. But if I zoom in on the hourly 1, just want to show you something which could make it bullish. And again, we need to keep an open mind. If I just clear off this box from earlier, we've been in sideways correction since the 9th of November, so nearly a month. Okay, I just put this box here. Okay, you could break it down if you wanted, but we've pretty much been in this box from 9th of November, pretty much 4 weeks. Ups and downs. It's been a range trading. Price made an attempt to break out, it's come back in. These were resistance points. So again, if we just zoom in on the top of the range there, these were the resistance. Came up, sell, came up, sell, came up, sell, up, sell, sell. And then what happened on 25th of November and towards the end of the month, you've had price break above, and then it's held that pull back, and it's trying to get above, back in, but each time it's back in, it's found buyers. Now, all of last week is pretty much this downtrend. Okay, and price was struggling. This is a clue to what will happen in the week. Price was struggling to get above the moving average 9 and hold. So you will see, when it broke up down here, as soon as it came out, you got big wicks against the moving average 9. This candle, bulls were trying to regain control of the price action, but again, they were smacked back down. Big red candles, price came above, you got wicks. Okay, so price came above, but sellers use that as an opportunity to sell back down. Wick above, sell down, wick above, sell down. What happened on Friday is the price actually came above. Strong green candle here, came back, but what was unusual, or not really unusual in terms, but for the week where you had sellers taking control, big buyer's wick here, this is a big clue, had a pullback, big clue here, and then you have big candles. This wick now says, right, sellers didn't like this. They want to get back in the action, sell it back down. But you will notice a clear difference. Last week, the price was kept being below the moving average 9, and on Friday, it got above. That last candle is obviously strong. So what you want to be doing is looking at actually short term. We might have a decent early midweek bounce. But how long will that last for? If we look at the hourly fall, it gives us another clue. Again, this just shows the wicks, even clearer. Clear wicks come down. But then on Friday, it came above. That red candle, it doesn't matter if it's a red candle there, because price closed above moving average 9. Next candle, green, and a green again. So what we're looking at, we've had this consolidation, this range. The price is broken above now. It went to take off, back down, comes back in, bang. So you could say that actually it may well want to go to that 500, 540 mark before there's any sell. If you look at the information on daily FX, etc., and it gives you information about who's short, mass market short. So with DAX, we want to really, you've got a big gap up here, and you've got that Fibonacci level. So keep an eye if it breaks above, for me, the 3rd of September high. It would be put this line up there. It didn't quite hit it, sold. If it goes just above, that would be a great excuse. You can imagine lots of shorts would have stop losses above that high, take them out, and then potentially drop it. We're not too concerned about looking long term because we're looking at intraday scalps. But there's some of the levels you look at. Again, using that channel, give you an idea. Price comes up to the level. So for DAX, I would definitely keep an eye on that. If we come and have a look at, this is one of the charts I've done. This is playing around with this earlier. This is Dow Jones. So again, very, very similar. What you'll see is prices, they're very, very similar in structure. If you look at using our Fibonacci tools again, extension from the low to the first move up, come down, just wave 2 there. Where's the top of that candle there? So just had a bit of an overshoot on that one, but again, 1618 is a great target after the first pullback. Up it goes. We'll combine it with the other Fibonacci, will give us a clue as to what's going to be happening. And we've got that. So here, what's interesting is Dow Jones, and again, this is when you want targets, people say, how do I get a target? Just combine the two, look for areas where there's two fibs aligning using both stars from the low. You've got a big sell there, price is battling, and look at that. I mean, these markets are so technical, it's beautiful, it's perfect. They come up and literally hit that and then it's sold. So at the moment, I'm not sure if Fridays went, okay, so Fridays has gone slightly higher. Let's just move that out of the way. I've drawn this channel in here just as a potential channel to keep an eye out. I've used this point, this point, this point. The price has come up and I've just cloned it and moved it across using these points. And then Friday obviously hit that. If I look at some of our tools, our underlying strength, we'll see that Awesome Oscillator's got weaker. So price got higher, Awesome Oscillator weaker, exactly the same on RSI. So it's a really tricky one because technically Dow Jones has actually hit its targets, DAX hasn't. So we need to monitor that very, very closely. Just from a chart pattern perspective, let's just make this chart nice and clear for you. You could say that you've had, at the moment, it might be a false breakout, but you've had this kind of triangle pattern, broke out there, sold back in, and it's broken out there. And at the moment, it's held. So price is above the moving average line, and it's above that line there. So it's a potential breakout, and it could run. Okay, we've got the Fibonacci suggesting potentially otherwise, but we must be aware when the other options we could do is just use the top of these two peaks, extend this out, Ideally, the target would be some, the apex, which would be right up there. But again, we could say if we remove this line there, will we also see as DAX goes high, will we see Dow Jones kind of stall or hit that level? That'd be a 1, 2, 3 points, and then we'll have to monitor. So whilst it might, you could argue there's been a breakout, I would much rather put that in there and also add this just in case it goes there. Okay. Again, this is hourly 4. If we look at hourly 1, are there any clues within there? What's our signals telling us? If that was okay, so that is the high at the moment. Let's just see. We might have Friday might have just been that new high. I think it was. So again, this is a clue. When you start looking at the price, this is a clue here. That has just gone above. Okay, followed by a big red candle. That was just at the close, I think, from memory. So we'll look at the peak of the price. So Awesome Oscillator peaked. Again, remember the time frame, so it's hourly 1. So price made a higher high, Awesome Oscillator a lower high. If we look at the RSI, where was the peak of the RSI? It's very, very close actually, which one it is, but technically it is that one there. So again, price has got higher and RSI weaker. So that would suggest that a reversal is imminent or will be coming soon. And it might not. If you want to be long the markets, again, absolutely fine. But find your entry. You want to be buying when RSI is low. You want to be, looking for a reversal. So I would be, I'd be cautious here. Again, if we look at some of our fibs, this to there, we can see a 261 is here. Okay. So there's a first clue. If it could gap up and then sell, for example, if that's what it wants to do. Okay, so we haven't got a lot lined up there, but this is an immediate target, that 261 fib level. So let's keep an eye on that. That's at 32.56. It's doable. Friday went to 32.25, so very, very close. Keep an eye on that. Nasdaq. If we have a look at this, this is hourly 1 again. I've created a channel using the bottom line, just clone that line, put it at the top. You can see the Awesome Oscillator is getting weaker again. That's hourly 1. RSI's also got weaker. So I would not be looking to buy up here. I would not be looking to swing trade up here. I want some kind of pullback. Again, from chart pattern, a channel perspective, it's an interesting level. Clearly, if it breaks above, then there could just be a nice run, but I don't see that myself. When we're looking at these levels here, when we're looking at the Awesome Oscillator getting weaker, again, this turned red last week, despite making higher prices. We've got a huge divergence. Again, it's higher than this point. This was the highest of RSI, so we have to be careful here. It could come down and go back up again for sure. Absolutely. One of the levels I did have, if I just show you, it reached out. This is going back to December 2018. We've used this low here to the peak for the first sizable pullback, and then we've got this level there. Whether it comes back down again, then shoots, and that's the ultimate high before decent correction. Then I think it could be those levels there are 12,925. So we have to be aware of that. If nothing else, we have to consider that is a big target that the price might want to go to. It doesn't have to go there. If I use either Fibonacci and we have a look for levels there. Okay, if I come back down, there's you could see potentially even you have to consider the 261 there, which would be way higher, 14,532. So we have to be aware that's a decent target. There's nothing stopping it. Potentially come down a bit. It could then go for the 161. Then we get a nice pullback, and then we make another run for up there. So it could definitely do that. So be aware of that. There we go. That's the same S&P. S&P is an interesting one. Just got one of these charts here. I want to show you this because this is exceptionally interesting. This is, a lot of people will say that's bearish, and I would be hard to disagree with the chart pattern, but I have seen it before. Lots of people think it's short, and then it just runs to the upside. I'm going to zoom in so you can see this. You've clearly got a breakout. The moving average 9 is now broken above that rising trend line, and you've got closing candles. What is I would be nervous if I was a bull or taking profits is the fact that, again, Awesome Oscillator suggests we've got a reversal, could be imminent. So if I was trading S&P, I would be putting in some, potential trend lines, some channels, see where, it might be going. This candle here, the red one, it looks like it's cancelled out the green one. So I don't include that in my drawings. But again, so you might get a classic, what you do get in ending diagonals occasionally, or quite often, is an overshoot. So this could be an overshoot. You really want to see this closing over for more than 1 day, but you clearly will see on that one, that green candle is strong. It has closed above. If it tomorrow follows a red candle, expect a sell to happen. It's not, it's not uncommon to get a bull trap, if you want to call it that. It looks like it's going to be bullish and run away, and then it doesn't. So we'll monitor that. We'll keep an eye on that. UK, so FTSE. I want to show you this because ultimately there's two things, big levels I can see in play. Okay, I'm going to look at firstly combining our two fibs, which always exceptionally powerful, and they will work. Okay, so now if I look at the minimum target, should be the extension to 100, but it also ties in with a 1618. So all I can simply do is just keep it nice and easy. If I put the levels there like that, it also ties in with the support levels from this region. And what I can also see is, from a chart perspective, if I clone that level there and move it up to there, it also ties in. So it's a really nice chart pattern that you've got, whether you've got the broad flag there like that. So again, really on FTSE, we want to be looking at 7140 region to 7200. Really nice and clear chart that. FANG, again, had this channel now since months, and we've just been following up and playing it up. Something to consider when we consider the Nasdaq chart. We've got almost a triple top, 1, 2, 3. It's still within that channel, so you've got to say it's bullish when it remains in that clear up channel. But again, we want to watch for a breakdown here. That'll give us a clue to Nasdaq dropping, and then that will give us a clue to S&P and to Dow Jones, and no doubt that all the markets would drop in sync. Quick look at VIX. So again, we've got some options. It's really close to some huge support again. It can go lower for sure. It can go down to 15, 16. But we want to keep an eye on that to expect some volatility to... this goes up, you expect the markets to go down. Quick update on our long-standing gold chart. Again, if I zoom right out, which we've kept for months, come to the middle of the channel now, and find this level of support, and now it's already started bouncing. So we are long-term bullish on gold, same with silver. Just playing around here with some of the levels. What I've done is gone back to 2014 to, again, just using a simple chart pattern, which is the resistance zone. So this was huge resistance. Price earlier this year, silver's been massively bullish. Look at the huge move. You would then expect it to come back and test these previous areas of resistance, and then it take off again. So that's what I'm expecting. So really, for silver, I'm not saying it will go as low as that, because it's already had a strong bounce off the first support at 22, but then you got 21 and maybe 19. So keep an eye on there. One of the things as well, oil. So we had this huge area, this huge level, which is massive support for going back to 2015. Anywhere around 42 to 44. Okay, and then this year, since May, we've then been in this range, really tight range. And what we saw last week was price break above, moving average break above of the range, green candles. So what we want to see is it break above, back test, and then whether it goes up. So this is going to be an interesting one to watch again, something to be aware of. And more than anything is the fact that from the peak of the Awesome Oscillator, price has gone higher, Awesome Oscillator's got weaker. So it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes with it. So We're going to do another another video on some long-term charts we're looking at. But one of the things we're going to keep an eye on is the dollar and the currency pairings against the dollar. I want to show you some weekly charts. So this is GBP. So the Great British Pound against US dollar. It's been a massive decline. But again, we've had falling wedge, bullish divergence. We are now testing, close back within. But this level, I would suggest of 1-3, probably there, 1-3-4-7. Breaks out above that can become massively bullish. You've got a huge potential. The dollar gets weaker, it breaks out and holds. You would expect that to go up. So keep an eye on that. Obviously, I can't go anywhere without looking at Bitcoin. Again, just show you this really simple chart and some key levels. Bitcoin was in this huge triangle since September 17. Again, using our simple Fibonacci levels, we had the 1618, which was, it's amazing how these things work, but you know, where the 1618 came, and price is pretty much thereabouts, happened to tie in with the previous all-time high, which is, you know, you can't write this stuff. It's absolutely, technically, that's perfect. What we haven't had on Bitcoin, really, this was a kind of you get the breakouts. This was kind of a back test and go. We haven't really had a proper back test, so we need to be aware of that. What I've done is highlighted these green areas, these green zones, which were previous resistance, and you can tell this resistance came up smack down. This level came up smack down. So we want to see that now act as support. So this level, this was weekly. Let's go to daily, give you some more accurate. And for the observant ones amongst you, you'll see this looks very similar to the gold chart as well. So watching correlations there. So Bitcoin 17174 is a potential big area of support. It was definitely big resistance. Below that, we come down to 13,800. So keep an eye on that. There's no real divergence, massive divergence here. You would expect that to be a big area to take profit, 1618, but it doesn't mean it is. Bitcoin is bullish. It's been consolidating at these levels, but until price on the daily closes, I'd say 3 candle closes below the moving average 9. You know, it can keep running. Let's have a quick look at XRP on USD. So again, I've just broken this into, go to hourly 4, broken this into just the range it's been in. You know, the top of the range up here, this was obviously big resistance because it sold out, big support here. But apart from that, is really the green box middle range. We can put in some chart patterns maybe and say, you know, is just simply joining the tops, joining the bottoms. We could argue that Apex comes in at this level where it pretty much is now anyway, but 8th of December, 9th of December. So this week, maybe we'll get a breakout on XRP this week. Give you the options of what could probably happen, just races up high, or it breaks above. Let me just put that, breaks above. Then it would come back to this level, which was resistance, okay? Then sell. Okay, you might want to come back and test that. Let's keep open-minded. It could come down. Okay, if it came down, then maybe we want to go to this area, which will support and also ties in with trend line and then sell. So I am more bullish and bearish, but I keep an open mind. I'll just trade whatever the price tells me to trade. There's no point being set in stone in your thought process. Better to leave it. But they're the ideas for this week. The market's ahead. Please obviously subscribe to our YouTube channel, support us, let us know if there's any charts you want us to do. We'll have a look at some long-term shares that can make you money for the long term over the next sort of couple of days. If I've got time today, I'll have a look at that today for you. But hopefully that gives you an idea for the markets. A look ahead this week. Any questions, feel free to get in contact with us. You can sign up at invexor.co.uk. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Stock Twits. And hopefully like and comment on the video. Let us know if there's anything you want us to chart. We will do.